Good evening, good afternoon, or either good morning. My name is George A. Sanders Sr. I like to take this opportunity to make citizens here in Littleton a little bit aware of some information that I think is important and I think that you should know about. And that is that you should know about the debt. You should know the financial situation of the town of Littleton. I have some information here that I received from the town with regards to the debt that we have as of June 30, 2022. And I just want you to understand that if we make purchases of whatever, we need to have the ability to pay for it. I am one that is not for going outside the levy making purchases because I think that taxes are something that we need to ensure that we are straightforward with what we really need in raising revenue based on the needs to pay for the goods and service for the town of Littleton and its citizens. For long-term debt, right now, it's about 18,500. $18.5 million is what we have for long-term debt inside of the levy. At the end of this, there's going to be a chart that's going to show you the long-term debt for inside the levy as of June 30, 2022. And there's going to be a long-term debt that's going to show you on the outside of the levy. That's like the debt exclusion. And that is about almost $11,000. It's $10,790,000 and some change. It's important that we not over purchase and have to come up with going with overrides or debt exclusions to pay the debt. Debt is very important for any city or town because we're always in debt, but we would like to be in the minimum amount of debt. Everybody likes to buy something new or build something new. Well, it costs money to do that. And your taxes go up by 2.5% every year, plus new growth, which isn't a whole lot of money. So as it stands right now, for 2022, on the inside debt, we paid down about $2.3 million. And on outside of the debt limit, it was $1.3 million, which was a total for 22, almost $6 million. That's how much money that was paid down for the debt. And we have something like about, we probably got at least probably 30 items that on the inside and outside of the debt limit, which is a total of $29,302,126. That was as of the 30th of June, 2022. Now, what is projected that's going to be on the horizon here? As you well know, they're going to have a town meeting that they're going to be talking about some bylaws changes, and there's going to be discussions of the possibility of buying the old music center on Kane Street along with some land up there. I understand on the 24th of this month, January 2023, that there's going to be a meeting in the library with the selectmen talking about the purchase of this land. This is what's projected to be paid down on the debt in 2023. Inside is going to be about 2.250. There's 2,250,000. Outside is going to be 1 million, almost 200, which come out to a total of $3.4 million. That is what the projection is right now to pay down this debt. That does not include if anything is added, like the music facility there on King Street. Is it a good idea to purchase this property, the land and the building? Well, in one sense, I say yes. If you're looking at long-range plan here, what is in store for Littleton? Well, we're hoping that when the 550 King Street project get up and running, and if the town is able to acquire a new town hall up there, the developer said that he would take the Shattuck Street building there, town hall building, and convert it into about 40 or 45 senior housing. So at some point, they're not going to build a humongous city hall up at 550 King Street. So there's a couple departments that's in Shattuck Street now that I believe would be good to put in the old music place there on King Street. And that would be the school department along with Park and Recs. I think that would be a good tool for the town to pick up if it can pick it up at a reasonable price. I think that would solve a lot of the logistics that we have here in the town of Littleton with regards to the school department never having a place, although many schools have been built, and nobody never decided to put a place in place for the school department headquarters. So I think that building, along with Park and Recs, since Park and Recs is a department and not an enterprise, that would benefit you as a taxpayer. I would say that if we can get it at a good price and it is within the levy, I would suggest that we vote for it at the town meeting and acquire that property. Like I say, here's a rundown of the pay down, and this is based on the $29,302,126. As I told you, in 22, we were paying down the debt at $3,578,000 in 22. 23 is $3,411,000. 24 is $3,073,000. On the 25th, 2025, it's a little under $3 million. It's $2,953,000. On 2026 is $2,778,000. In 2027 is $2,581,000. In 28 is $2,224,000. At the end of this will be put up and you will get an opportunity to look at and see the various items that is inside the levy and that is outside the levy. Now I will move on to something else that I wish to bring to your attention, and that is what debt projects are being talked about. I just told you about the music facility there on King Street. There's also been talked about, I heard before, the municipality billing committee, that it was mentioned about the highway department looking for a facility, because the facility there on Air Road is outgrown itself. It's very tight. They need more space. They've taken on more equipment, and they need this equipment into a larger shed than what's available there. What is the cost? I don't know what the cost is, but I can tell you one thing. If they're talking about from the ground up building a facility, it was mentioned that it was talking about $14 million, and then it was talked about where it seemed more like it would be $18 million. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but I understand that the water is being tested about the fact of getting more space for the highway department. Now, how much money is going to be needed for that, I don't know. But I know that this was talked about in saying that a facility, what would be needed. So with that project, the next one that we have, as you well know, there's a preliminary study that's taking place with regard to Shaker Lane. They're either going to extend Shaker Lane, they're going to renovate it, they're going to tear it down, and they're going to build a new school. How much money will we get? We don't know how much the state will give us for the project. But you can almost bet it's usually under 50% of whatever the total cost is that the school will allow and consider it to be part of the school. So based upon that, we have this project which is being considered at this time. Is the school for sure, Shaker Lane. And the music facility at King Street is being considered for sure at this time. As far as the highway department go, it's been talked about getting more room for the highway department. Whether it's there or at some other location. That is what has happened there. Now I would like to move on and talk to you a little bit about what I normally been doing over the years when we've had newspapers in this town. We no longer have a newspaper in this town. So I've always written endorsements for candidates that's been running for office in the town of Littleton. And I would like to speak to you with regards to the May 2023 municipality election candidates that I am endorsing for re-election and to be elected. I would like to start off with candidate Ms. Anna Houston. She's on the planning board. I want to say that as a person, she is very keen in representing the taxpayers here in the town of Littleton. She is one of the representatives on the planning board that deserve to be reelected. She is a very hard and dedicated worker that is always there for the meetings. She is there representing us as the people of the town of Littleton, ensuring that Littleton is getting from the developers what they agreed and what they approved that they was going to give or going to do for the project here in the town of Littleton. I am very thankful that we have able-bodied candidates that are running for re-election, such as Anna, on the planning board, because we need good, knowledgeable people on the planning board. The planning board is a very key board in the town, in any town or city, as far as that go, because they're the one that keep your city and town in line with what the citizen would like to see their city or town look like. So that's why it's so important that we have good candidates on these boards, on the planning board, to ensure that they have those watchful eyes, ensuring that the developer will ensure that they give the town what they promised that they would give us. And I think Anna is not only a good candidate, she is a very dear candidate wanting to work for you and I as citizens here in the town of Littleton, and taking that time away from her family to help represent us in making the town of Littleton what we would like to see the town of Littleton look like. That is very important. And I thank her for taking that time and dedication to give to us as citizens here in the town of Littleton. It is great to know that we have people in this town that are willing to step up and to work without compensation whatsoever to give many and long, hard hours in working to make a better Littleton here in the town of Littleton. And I thank Ms. Houston for taking on the task to run for another term. And I ask you, as voters here in the town of Littleton, to cast your vote for her this coming May. Thank you for that. The next person that I would like to endorse and speak about for re-election is Mr. Matt Nohouse. He's on the select board. He is the current chair of the select board. As you well know, he came as a new one to the select board. And I believe that as a person that is on the select board, he has done a real fine job as a chair, in my opinion. But I also know that he listens as well. And he tries to ensure that Littleton is properly represented. Being represented by the select board is a very important thing for anyone to be able to accomplish. I think that being on the select board is a very difficult task. There's a lot of time that is spent away from your family. There's a lot of time that you give to the select board with the meetings, long meetings, and so forth, the negotiations that take place. It is important that we have good representatives on the select board that is willing to listen to the people and understand the needs of the town of Littleton. It is tough being in politics. You have to have tough skin. It's not easy to be a politician nowadays. I know that Mr. Nohouse has worked very diligently, and I know that he tries his very best to do the best for the town of Littleton, along with his colleagues. You don't always agree, but you should agree to be able to disagree with things that come before the select board. Get a clear understanding as to what is what. I think the transparency of town business and what goes on in this town and keeping the citizen abreast as to what's going on is very important. Something that doesn't happen as often as it should is that I think that the town of Littleton, and I think the select board, should keep you abreast as to what the debt is. Just like I've told you about the debt here today with regards to what's inside the levy, how much it is, what's outside the levy, how much it is, how much we're paying down for debt, and what they're talking about on the horizon, maybe to become debt. That's information. That's being transparent in itself of letting you as taxpayers know what is going on and what has happened. This is something that our select board needs to be doing. And I think that whether you're a member or whether you're the chair, I think that you need to keep the people abreast as to what is going on. And I think that Mr. Nohouse has done a good job coming to this political arena for the probably maybe the first time that I know of him running for select board here, because being on a committee is a lot different than being on the select board. The select board is the element of this town that is in position to go forward or go astray. To go forward means that you're managing the goods and service and you're watching the people's purse in terms of taxes that are being paid and ensuring that we're getting the best bang for the best dollar. And I think Mr. Northouse's idea is to ensure that Littleton gets the best bang for its dollar. And I would encourage you as voters out there to vote for Mr. Northouse on May municipality election. I believe that he deserves the opportunity for another term. I think that it will benefit the town where that we have new thinkers on that board, especially now, because there are a lot of stuff that is going to be on the move here with the common area there being developed, and also 550 King Street being developed. Now they're talking about 410 Great Road being developed. We need a good, smart group of select members at the head of this town. Therefore, I ask you to vote for Mr. Northouse come May election. And lastly, I'd like to endorse Miss Karen Morrison. She's a newcomer to wanting to get into the political arena. I know that she's a very dedicated individual. She's a dedicated mother. And she's an attorney. Her son plays basketball with my son. And I know that they've traveled down to Pennsylvania with my wife and another member and Miss Morrison because they had a traveling basketball game that they needed to play. She is someone that I would say give the opportunity to, because we need to understand a lot of things that are going on in the town. We spend a lot of money, as you well know, with legal matters in this town. Having a lawyer on a select board could offer us some assistance and probably help cut some costs sometime that we have to run to legal counsel every time for every little thing. I think Ms. Morrison could come on board as a new person to the select board. And I think that we need to look at the fact that from time to time, we need to put new people on the select board that are good candidates, that are willing to step up and be a part of a committee or board in helping us to run the town of Littleton in a very efficient way. I think Ms. Morrison would be a very good select person that can come on board and can help us to have a good select board, which would be with only probably one. Mr. DeCosta would be the only one that has been on there the longest. The rest of are new people. I think that it's time that we always should keep a board that is workable, that can get along, and that can progress together and represent the town of Littleton. And I think Ms. Morrison could be the person that can come on board and help this select board to move forward with all that has to be done in this town within the next few years. I think her strength as a lawyer, her strength as a dedicated parent in this town, and I believe at some point, I believe she was on the school board or is on the school board. But I think that most of all, she is someone that's willing to step up and work hard to represent us, that we can speak to, we can talk to, and she'll listen to us as to what we think. And that isn't always the case when you have people on a board or a committee. Being a lawyer means, first and foremost, she has that ability to listen to her clients. Therefore, she has the ability to listen to us as taxpayers. And she wants to get in there and try to help the town of Littleton by volunteering, taking on and getting in this political arena, which is not an easy place to be a part of. I think it's a golden opportunity for us to elect someone new to the board. And I encourage each voter out there to give Ms. Morrison a chance to become a select person for the town of Littleton. If we had newspaper here, I would be writing and putting endorsement in the paper for the three individuals that I spoke about. I believe that they are dedicated individuals. I believe they are trustworthy individuals. And that you and I, as citizens in this town, whether you're a voter or not, can call upon them and they'll hear your call. With having said that, I ask you to please vote for the three people: Ms. Houston, Planning Board; Mr. Norhouse, Select Board; Ms. Morrison as a newcomer to the Select Board. And I want to thank you, as always, for the opportunity to appear before you and let you know what is going on in the town of Littleton, and to give you my straightforward thoughts about what is good and what is going on in the town of Littleton that you, as taxpayers and citizens, should know about. You don't always get it from the town. But when I deem there's information that's necessary for you to know about what's going on, I will come before the camera and give it to you straight talk. I want to thank you. God bless you, and have a good evening.